Support for Sports Page is provided by the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower level of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.
Coming up on this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page, we'll recap Senior Day for both Mules and Jenny's basketball. And we'll get you ready for the upcoming 2015 MIAA basketball tournament.
The Central Missouri track and field teams is also gearing up for a big MIAA event. The Mules and Jennies host the 2015 Conference Indoor Championships this weekend at the Multi. We'll give you a little preview of potential title winners.
And later in the show, we're going to go a little more in depth with one of the recent inductees to the Central Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. All of that and more on this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm Briana Blocker with the University of Central Missouri Sports Page.
And I'm Adrienne Columbus. We're going to get you all caught up on the week in UCM athletics.
Let's get right into it. It seems like basketball season just started, but we're actually nearing the end of the regular season with student athletes from all over the country. Saturday is a good day for family to come into town.
So Saturday, February 21st wasn't the last home game for Mules and Jennies basketball, but it was the best time to celebrate the seniors.
Alex Agueros was on hand for the Mules game against Southwest Baptist, and he's got a recap for us now.
The Mules sit atop the MIAA standings 1 week away from tournament time. They look to keep their 5-game win streak going against Southwest Baptist Bearcats, a team they've already beaten earlier this season.
The Mules got some senior leadership early when Preston Bruns hit a 3 7 minutes into the game to put UCM up 15-8. SBU got their first lead when Stephen Manas nailed a jumper over Brad Woodson. The Bearcats lead 17-15. But the Mules would answer with another 3 from Bruns, this time on the assist from Rakeem Dickerson. Bruns tied a career high with 17 points. But it was Kyle Wolf who found himself open again and again. He scored 23 points on 7 of 12 shooting and was 6 of 9 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. I mean, they pack it pretty close, but they get out to shooters pretty quick, so you got to attack the closeouts. But it kind of fooled us a little bit and slowed us down. We missed a lot of shots we usually hit, so we didn't open up a lead there. But they played really well, and they kept us on our heels. Yeah, they play a pack line defense, so they just don't want the ball to get in the paint. So coach was saying, get it inside out, and that's the easiest shot to shoot when it's coming from the paint. So I think as long as we didn't take the cheese, take early shots, and just took it when it was open, and it was good.
The Mules would go on to win 71-67 and remain atop the MIAA standings. Signing off for Sports Page, this is Alex Agueros.
Thanks, Alex. So, if the Mules keep up the winning, the final regular season game against Northwest Missouri State will be a big one. There's a chance the Mules and Bearcats will be playing that one to find out who wins the regular season championship for the men's basketball in the MIAA.
Definitely a good win on Senior Day for Mules basketball. The Jennies also honored their seniors before the game against Southwest Baptist on Saturday, February 21st. The UCM women looking for a season sweep of the Bearcats in this second game. Benjamin Eaton was at the Multi for the game. He's got the highlights for us.
It's Senior Day here in the Multi, and the Jennies are facing Southwest Baptist for the second time this season. They faced off in Bolivar for the first time. The Jennies won that one 79-67. They erupted for 51 points in the second half. Let's see how this one played out.
Prior to the game, the Jennies seniors were honored and posed with Coach Slifer. The Jennies offense was hot to start off the game, scoring 40 first-half points, led by Ravonia Howard, who went for 20 points and 13 rebounds. 3 also coming from this Taylor Wick shot. She finished with 11. Jasmine Thompson joined the fun with 1 of her 4 assists here to Ravonia Howard. Thompson finished with 11 points, 4 rebounds to go with her 4 assists. Second half action, not much had changed, and Coach Slifer was still fired up. UCM was up at halftime 40-29. Justina Prairie Chief converted on 2 of her 11 points on this find from Howard. Prairie Chief finished with a double-double, also grabbing 11 rebounds. Thompson off the mark with a 3, cleaned up by Shelby Winkleman, 69-53. Jenny's up, approaching 2:40 to go in the game. Jenny's finished off Southwest Baptist, knocking down 7 threes and winning 72-55, much to Coach Slifer's happiness.
This game is all about the seniors all day long, and they played extremely, extremely well.
Jenny's played well and sometimes even lucky. Jennies are now 17-8 overall and 11-6 in the MIAA. UCM is on a 5-game win streak and has one last home game February 25th versus Missouri Western. Then finishing the regular season off Saturday, February 28th versus Northwest, I'm Benjamin Eaton for SportsPage.
Thanks, Benjamin. So the Jennies are now riding a 6-game win streak. They're also looking ahead to the MIAA tournament, but the UCM women are going to finish out their regular season playing for a chance to get a bye in the tournament. If the Jennies end up at number 4, they go straight to Kansas City. But if they finish at number 5, they'll host a play-in game. We'll get you updated on those seedings for the tournament next week. Coming up next, we'll check in with the Jennies bowling, and we'll talk about some renovations happening at Pirtle Springs. We'll be right back.
What if TV respected children?
They long to know that they're loved.
And taught children respect. Who says everybody can't master French cooking?
Bon appetit!
Why can't TV encourage millions of preschoolers to learn? All of us to wonder. And a nation to experience history as it was lived.
The dream shall never die.
And what if great art flowed into every living room freely? Give to your PBS station and support the people and programs that never stop asking, what if?
Am I ever glad to be in this neighborhood?
Track and field is a unique sport in that competitions happen both indoors and outdoors.
The weather obviously hasn't let the Mules and Jennies get outside for a meet yet, but before you know it, they will be. That's okay though. Indoor track and field meets feature almost all the events that happen at outdoor meets.
Central Missouri has a complete indoor facility inside the multi, and the Mules and Jennies have hosted several meets there this winter, including the UCM Open last week. The next meet in Warrensburg is the biggest one of the indoor track and field season for MIAA teams. It's the conference championship meet. But how did the Mules and Jennies do in that final regular season meet? Well, UCM swept the weight throws with wins from Kenesha Rayner and Heaven Warner, who is the reigning national champion in the hammer throw, the outdoor equivalent to the weight throw. Rayner threw a personal best for the Mules. Warner also won the shot put. The throws weren't the only events the Mules and Jennies swept. Madison Smith and Tyler Chancellor won the 60-meter hurdles. The Mules' Cole Phillips took the top spot in the pole vault and in the triple jump. UCM placed first and second. The UCM men and women won the 200, 800, mile, and 3,000-meter runs. Chase McCoy PR'd in the 200. Kaylee Fuchs and Tyler Banks hit PRs in the 800. Adam Treadway's mile time is currently the fastest in the MIAA, and in the 3K, Megan Glyman and Michael Golick ran personal best times.
Well, we've always performed well on our home track. Kids get to sleep in their own bed, eat their own food, and that's important. Plus, they'll have probably more fans, more friends that have a chance to walk out of the dorm room to come over and watch them compete. So it's our atmosphere, and we want to perform well.
The 2015 MIAA Track and Field Championships are Friday, February 27th through Sunday, March 1st here in Warrensburg. You can find the full schedule at UCMathletics.com.
Not many NCAA schools have women's bowling, and that's across all divisions. So when Jennies Bowling travels, they go all across the United States, and they play schools of all sizes. There are not divisions in women's bowling, so UCM will go up against schools like Nebraska or other small schools that are in Missouri. The Jennies have been to Kansas, Ohio, Indiana, Nebraska, Texas, Arkansas, and Pennsylvania this season. Now it's time for UCM Bowling to come home. It's going to be a big week for the Jennies Bowling as the team hosts the Mid-America Individual Championships here in Warrensburg on Thursday, February 26th. Then over the weekend, the action will move to Kansas City, where the Jennies host the UCM Women's Invitational.
The Friday through Sunday event, we'll play against 7 other really good teams. 5 of those are ranked in the top 20 in the country. So we hope that we can hold our own and continue to perform well.
Central Missouri is also the host institution for the 2015 NCAA Bowling Championships, April 9th through the 11th in St. Louis.
Golfers who enjoy getting in a few rounds at the Keth Memorial Golf Course at Purtle Springs here on the campus of UCM will have to wait until early fall to hit the course this year. But that's because the course is currently undergoing a complete renovation. Back in December, UCM President Dr. Charles Ambrose and Athletic Director Jerry Hughes unveiled plans for renovations to a packed house at the Audrey J. Walton Clubhouse. This project will cost an estimated $3.1 million and will include a complete overhaul of the course's landscape from zoysia grass fairways, PGA spec greens, concrete cart paths, to an entirely new layout of the holes. Renovations are already underway and the course is scheduled to be reopened in early fall 2015.
I think the thing that people are going to find when they come out here the first time after renovations are completed is it's not the golf course that they last played on. I think it routes differently. There are about 3 totally new holes, and then within the existing 15 other holes, they've been changed enough that you're really not going to notice the golf course.
Everyone is excited about the renovations, including President Ambrose. He jumped at the chance to help with the demolition. The construction crew gave Dr. Ambrose a lesson, then he had fun moving dirt around with the bulldozer.
Coming up a little later, we'll tell you more about one of the recent inductees into the Central Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
When we come back, we'll run through this week's scores from sports like baseball and softball, and we'll take a look at the week ahead. Stick with us.
I choose excitement.
I choose to make a difference.
I choose uncommon opportunities.
I choose red to experience learning to a greater degree.
Choose red. Choose the University of Central Missouri.
Hi, I'm Paula Kerger. People tell me their lives have been changed by watching their PBS station. That's what's unique about PBS. We give you and everyone the opportunity to explore new ideas, go places you'd never be able to go, and realize what's possible. I ask you to give to this PBS station so that everyone can experience more, discover more, and be more. Support possibilities. Support KMOS-TV Missouri PBS.
Baseball and softball are already a few weeks into their 2015 seasons, but neither team has played a home game yet. Mostly, they're playing schools that are located more toward the south, where the weather is better.
The Mules baseball team was actually supposed to play a few home games last weekend against Fort Hays State, but with the snow we got here in Warrensburg, the games were moved to Hays, Kansas. UCM struggled in the first 2 games on Thursday. Fort Hays took Game 1 9-1. Game 2 was closer, but the Mules fell 9-8. The Mules salvaged the split by winning both games on Friday. In the first game there, UCM took a 5-0 lead before cruising to the 5-2 win. Starting pitcher Jake Heisler improved to 2-0 after allowing just 2 hits. Trevor Ezell earned his 4th save of the season when the Mules outlasted Fort Hays 7-5 in the second game. UCM is now 6-5 overall and 2-2 in the MIAA.
Jennies softball played in the Kelly Loss Memorial Tournament in St. Cloud, Minnesota last week. UCM fell to the Minnesota State Mankato 6-0 in the first of 3 games on Thursday. In the second game, the Jennies were able to find their offensive mojo as they defeated St. Cloud State 4-1. Senior Amanda Nally put the Jennies on the board with a 2-out, 2 RBI single. The Jennies continued to swing the bats with an 8-7 victory over Concordia St. Paul in the final game of the day. The Jennies scored 6 runs in the last 2 innings, rallying for a walk-off win over the Golden Bears. The action continued on Friday, and the first game of the day took extra innings to find a winner. Unfortunately, Augustana edged the Jennies 5-3 in the game that went 8 innings. And the final game of the tournament put UCM up against Wayne State. The Jennies took an early 4-3 lead through the first 3 innings, but Wayne State scored 2 runs in the 5th and 1 run in the 7th to take 6-4 win. The Jennies are now 4-5 on the season.
Baseball and softball have their first games here in Warrensburg scheduled for the first weekend in March. We've got some great games on tap for this week as well.
And some teams will even be starting postseason play. Let's take a look at our upcoming events for Thursday, February 26th through Wednesday, March 4th.
We already told you about the bowling and track's big events. The Mules baseball team will be on the road this week, taking on Emporia State in games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mules and Jennies basketball finishes up the regular season on Saturday, February 28th at Northwest Missouri State. Those are regular afternoon times for the tip-offs. After that, we'll be talking about the MIAA tournament. Mules wrestling will be competing in the NCAA Division II Super Region 3 tournament Saturday, February 28th and Sunday, March 1st. The Super Region will be at the Taylor Center in Mankato, Minnesota. Jenny softball also has an upcoming game against the Bearcats. UCM faces Northwestern Maryville on Tuesday, March 3rd for a doubleheader.
Going back to basketball real quick, once that final game at Northwest is over and we return to the conference tournament, things will move quickly. We'll keep you updated here on SportsPage, but you can also find scores and updated schedules on UCMathletics.com.
When we come back, we'll meet a UCM Athletics alum who turned tragedy into triumph. Don't go away.
I support one student in college with a scholarship. Just the way I want to pass on a legacy of education. I would like to pass PBS on to the next generation.
For more information, call 1-800-753-3436.
I like to think that PBS is concerned with our soul. If your soul is in the right place, you're in giving back.
I choose to be a champion.
I choose to be inspired.
I choose the perfect fit.
I choose red to experience learning to a greater degree.
Choose red. Choose the University of Central Missouri.
Last week, we told you all about the latest class of standout student athletes and distinguished alums who were recently inducted into the Central Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
They all deserve the recognition, but one of the inductees is not done making a name for himself as a former Mule. Delanie Walker is one of many former UCM football players who have made it to the NFL. Walker initially played for the San Francisco 49ers. Now he's with the Tennessee Titans. Back in San Fran, something tragic happened to Walker, but he's turned that into a positive thing in his life and is now helping others, continuing his charity work in Nashville and around the country. Here is the tribute video made for Walker's induction into the UCM Hall of Fame.
When Delanie chose to come to the University of Central Missouri, it was the first big, true splash player that we were able to lure from California. And Delanie was, I believe, ranked #1 receiver in the California area or out in West Coast and maybe even in the country at the time. Coming out of junior college, he was at Mount San Antonio Junior College. And we were absolutely thrilled when we found out that Delanie had chosen to come here.
Yeah, we certainly thought he was going to be a dominating player here in the MIAA, and he certainly didn't disappoint. Great size and speed, just a fantastic athlete, and all the attributes you look for in a football player, and did a good job in the return game for us. A smart football player. He was a guy that you could tell him to do something one time, and he was able to go out there and execute it out there on the field.
I can remember talking to junior college coaches in California, and I'm trying to explain exactly what we want, and they're like, Delanie Walker went there, right? Well, then we understand what level you're talking about. And so he basically legitimized the University of Central Missouri as a valid place for these kids out in the West Coast to go to. And then you turn around and you look at what he's done in the NFL, transforming himself from a wide receiver, and he was a big wide receiver, tough kid, to now being a tight end / H-back, off the ball, block.
He just can do a lot of different things. When I watch him, on TV, he played a great game in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago when he was with the 49ers, and just has had a tremendous career and great success in the NFL. And I know everybody who's coached him or played with him here at Central Missouri is very proud of that.
We today still sit there and talk about, if you want to come to the University of Central Missouri and you have aspirations of playing in the NFL, it's possible. Why is that possible? We got a guy doing Tennessee Titans right now, Delanie Walker, and he's doing fantastic things, not only in the football realm, but even from the social standpoint with his involvement in MAD and everything else.
Delanie Walker became involved with MAD when he became a victim of drunk driving. His aunt and uncle were killed in a drunk driving crash, leaving the Super Bowl that he played in 2012. And he immediately reached out to MAD for victim support and then said, I need to do something to make a difference. Tell me what I can do. He is a spokesperson for MAD. He talks to media. He just did 23 interviews at the Super Bowl Media Week. He also helps to raise money for MAD, and one of the most important things that he did was he used his voice and story and helped us to get a very important DUI bill passed in Tennessee.
He's a great leader by example. He does everything fast. He does it all game speed and makes it easy for quarterbacks on Sundays because they know exactly where he's going to be because that's where he is in practice. And I think he's very good for this locker room, for the way he represents himself, his family, and this organization. And then, the production that he's had by doing everything just the right way. And that says a lot about him. And this is a great honor, him being inducted. I can see why. He's a good man before a good football player.
Well, I've kind of seen Delanie grow in this league. I've had the fortune or maybe the displeasure of having played against him a number of years when he was in San Francisco and I was with Arizona. And I think one of the things that really stands out about Delanie was all the roles that he did. I remember seeing him return a kickoff. I see him block on kickoff return, getting after guys. Just his ability to play multiple roles, do what was asked of him, and be unselfish. That type of mentality is why he's been so successful in the league.
Well, Delanie, as I would say, is a game wrecker in other people's eyes when we play opponents. I know that they have to be aware of where he is at all times and try to stop him. He is a very disruptive player. He can change the game in a matter of a play or two. I just think people are getting to know Delanie a lot better now that he's had the production that he's had and he's been consistent with it.
Congratulations, Delanie. Your induction to the University of Central Missouri Hall of Fame is well deserved, and we're proud to call you an alum. Mules for life.
Congratulations, Delanie. It was a tremendous honor, and you're definitely worthy of it. And I hope you and everybody that came with you here today has a great day, and wish I could be there.
From everybody here at Delanie, especially that tight end room where we spent a lot of time together, I know the guys all want to say congratulations on this, and couldn't be happier for you. Wish we were there.
I'd like to take a minute to congratulate Delanie on being put into the Hall of Fame at the University of Central Missouri. What a great honor, well deserved, of a young man that's worked very hard, represented himself right, both on the football field and in the community. Been a great role model for young men, and his work that he does with MAD, I think, speaks a lot about being a well-rounded person, and is certainly an important part of the qualities of being in the Hall of Fame. Couldn't be happier for Delanie.
Delanie, on behalf of MAD, congratulations on your induction to the University of Central Missouri Athletic Hall of Fame. What an achievement. You've worked so hard. You work hard for your job, which is football, and it's taken you a long way. But more than anything, thank you for what you do to serve MAD's mission. Your voice, your story honors your aunt and uncle, honors your family, and we will never forget Aunt Peaches and Uncle Brian. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
To find out more about MAD and Delanie Walker's work with the group, head to madd.org.
It's great to see a former Mule playing in the NFL, but doing even better things in off-the-field projects.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure which one Mule's football is more proud of, the fact that he's a professional football player or one who's named the community MVP.
Well, that's all for this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more on Mules and Jennies athletics. I'm Briana Blocker.
And I'm Adrienne Columbus. Thanks for watching Sports Page on KMOS-TV Missouri PBS. See you next week.
Support for Sports Page is provided by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs, campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.